Hi everyone, Jamie Humphries here for Six String Alliance, and today we are taking a look at the Steve Morse Signature 20-watt head from Engl. We're going to be deep diving into the amplifier, looking at all of the different features, and as well as that, we're also going to be exploring the MIDI options. I feel this is something that's been a little bit overlooked. So to kick things off, I'm going to perform for you a new track that I've written. This is a Steve Morse tribute track. Steve is one of my most favorite guitar players. And in this track, I have made use of all of the different features available to you on this incredible amplifier. Let's check it out. So Steve Morse is without a doubt one of the greatest guitar players of all time. He is equally at home whether he's playing electric guitar or acoustic guitar. He is an absolute master at everything from rock to country to bluegrass and classical. And his playing prowess and virtuosity has won him countless awards. Starting out with his own band, the Dixie Dregs, or sometimes referred to as the Dregs. He's also fronted his own band, the Steve Morse Band, but also he has been a member of Kansas and also Deep Purple. As well as that, he has also been a part of the collective band Flying Colours with Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater. Now, Steve's own music is instrumental guitar music, but it's unlike the regular type of instrumental music that we think of when we think of instrumental guitar music. We think of shredders a lot of the time. Yes, Steve can shred with the best of them, but he is an incredible composer. And his music is very, very rich stylistically, blending elements of rock and country. We have bluegrass, we have Celtic inspiration, as well as classical. And to go with that vast array of different musical styles, Steve calls on a wide variety of very unique and different tones. Now, Steve has been working for many years with Engl, and they produce a signature 3-channel 100-watt head, which is an absolute beast. I think it's got 2 channels that feature a 3-band EQ, but then the 3rd channel features a 4-band EQ. Steve is known for having a very rich and smooth lead tone. Although he does have a high gain tone, it has a very warm and pronounced mid-range. So with that in mind, the 3rd channel of his big 100-watt head has a couple of different mid-range controls. So it's a very detailed amplifier for you to be able to sculpt your tone. Now, for quite a while, people have been crying out for a smaller version of that amplifier. So we have the Steve Morse Signature 20-watt head. Now, this really kind of resembles the Iron Ball Special Edition in terms of its look and its layout and features. But this amp has very much been designed from the ground up with Steve Morse in terms of the way that the EQ works, as well as the voicing of the amplifier. So what we have here is a 2-channel amp. We have a clean channel and a lead channel. And this is on full power. This is a 20-watt amplifier, but we have a switchable power soak on the back. So at maximum power, as I said, 20 watts, you can drop it down to 5 watts, and you can also drop it down to 1 watt. But as well as that, you can drop it down to a no cab setting. In other words, you don't have to plug a speaker cab in. So it has a load box built in. And when you switch it to that mode, you can take full advantage of the fact that you can load 8 impulse responses into this amplifier. It comes preloaded with 3 Engl impulse responses, but then you have the other slots that you can fill up with your own impulse responses. We have an XLR output, so you can run directly into an audio interface for recording and not have to have a cab, not have to make lots of noise at home. That being said, you could run it on 1 watt and have it at bedroom level. It's also got a headphone socket, so you could just sit there with the amp and practice enjoying the feel and the sound and the experience of playing a valve amplifier, plugging your headphones into it and enjoying the fact that the amplifier can takes impulse responses and that you can run it without a cab. Now, as well as that, we have a boost control, so you can kick your clean channel a little bit, add a little bit of grunt to it, or you can put that on top of your drive channel. It's a bit like having a clean boost, basically. It will just add a little bit more saturation. We've got a master volume boost, so if you're going to take a solo, you can switch in the master volume boost and it will just lift the level of the amplifier. But also we have a onboard digital reverb and digital delay. The controls for that are for those are on the back, but we can engage them with the switches. We're going to talk about the layout of the amp a little bit in a moment. All of these features that I'm mentioning, by the way, are MIDI switchable, and there's a few different parameters going on with the delay and the reverb that you can also access via MIDI. We have an onboard noise gate, and as well as that, you can also switch in and out the buffered effects loop. Okay, so let's take a look at the front. We have our clean gain, and the thing about the clean channel on this amplifier is it is incredibly clean. That's something that Steve wanted. He said himself he can even plug his classical guitar into the front of it. It's really, really clean. Lots of headroom. That being said, you can crank it up a little bit and get some crunch out of it. But I think with the different options of the boost and the master volume boost and such, you wouldn't really want to do that, or you wouldn't need to do that because there's so much that you can do with the lead channel. So we have a shared EQ, bass, middle, and treble, but then we also have a clean presence control, and that's a really interesting control. There's no presence control for the lead channel. That's the way that Steve wanted it. But basically, you can set the EQ up, and then when it comes to your clean sound, if it's a little bit too dark, then you can just adjust the clean presence control just to add a little bit of that sort of top end sheen to it and really open up the sound. We have for the lead channel, obviously we've got the lead gain that you can set to your desire. I normally set that so I've got like a pretty good crunch, and then when I back the guitar down, it will clean up the sound slightly. We also have a lead volume as well, so you can balance out between the clean channel and your lead channel. And then we also have a global master volume. So in terms of getting your level set for a live performance, this is it's an incredibly well thought out amp when you consider the size of it. I don't think I've ever come across a lunchbox amplifier of this size, this kind, that has been so well thought out. Then we have this series of little momentary switches. We have the store button. That's the button where you can store your preferences to each channel. So you don't really have to dig into MIDI. You can just set the amp up so that when you're on clean, it's a certain way. When you switch into the lead channel, then it remembers your preferences. So that's the store button. That's how you set that up. Then we have the MVB. I think that's the next button. I can't see, but the MVB, that's the master volume boost. And then we have the reverb and the delay switches there. So you can just switch those on and off if you are practicing. Another really cool thing as well is that if you hold the reverb button down and also hold the delay button down, they will start to flash. And that's engaged the reverb and the delay tails. So in other words, when you're performing, if you finish off a lead and you've, nice big string bend at the end, and then you go back to your tight rhythm sound, when you turn the delay off, the tails will continue of that final phrase. My one disappointment, actually, my one little gripe is that those tail settings aren't, they don't remember unless you store them to a preset. I really wish that there was a way of just turning those on and leaving them on. When you turn the amp off, it remembers that you've engaged the tails for the reverb and delay. The reason being is that for me, I'm not setting up presets with my delay and reverb. Maybe there's another way of doing this, but I'm treating them like stomp boxes, just turning them on and off. So I don't know, maybe there's an update or something that Engl could look at so that that's like a global function, that when you turn the tails on and off, the amp remembers when you power it down. Basically, that would be great for me. But what I've found is that when I want to use the amp, I'm always engaging those before I use it, because it will remember them through a performance. But when you turn it off, it won't remember them. But you can store the tails via engage them via MIDI, or you can store them to a preset. Okay, so down onto the second row of buttons, we've got the boost control. So that's like a clean boost. That's going to add a little bit of front end oomph into the signal. That's great if you want to set your crunch channel up, or your lead, I keep saying crunch channel, your lead channel up, so you've got a decent amount of crunch, and then you can engage the boost to get it a little bit more saturated and distorted. That's the way that I like to set it up. Next to that, we have the lead and clean channel selection switch. We have the effects loop on and off, and then we have an on-off switch for the noise gate. And we have a control to dial in the intensity, or the way that the noise gate works, if you like. You can, hold the guitar with the maximum kind of noise it's going to make with the guitar open, and then just set the threshold. That's what I was trying to say. Set the threshold of your noise gate, and or just adjust it when you're playing so that it's not choking off the notes. But it's a really gentle and really usable noise gate. So let's kick off having a listen to the clean channel. I've got my little air step board here. This is the Air Step Multi. I love these boards. We are going to smash my guitar with it. We are going to discuss MIDI a little bit, but just to save me sort of blindly trying to find the controls, the way I've set it up, and I will explain it, is basically I can switch channels and kick specific things in and out. So basically I've just taken those switches and put them on the board. So you can obviously, push the switches down to engage the different features of the amp or the different functions. But just for the sake of this, I'm doing it this way. So I'm mic'd up in the other room with a Mesa rectifier 1x12. They're quite beefy cabs, and I'm using a Lewitt condenser mic. So let's have a listen to the clean channel. I've split the coil of my bridge hot rail, and I'm using the middle single coil. Let's go on to that sort of classic Strat sound, which is the neck and the middle single coil. Thing about the clean channel of this amp is you have lots of headroom. We've only got a single gain control. You can balance between the clean channel with that gain control and the lead volume, and then you have an overall control for the sort of global level, if you like, with the master. Let's have a little bit of an experiment with the EQ. So first of all, we got the bass control. Let's just turn that all the way up. Drop it all the way back down again. Yeah, it's a very, very powerful EQ on this amp. I went just past the halfway point. Okay, now let's have a listen to the mid-range control. Let's push the mid up and pull it down, scoop it out. Again, I liked dialing in quite a lot of that mid-range, or pushing it a bit. And then finally, we have the treble control. If I push that all the way up and then pull that, just darken it down a little bit. If I just go quickly onto the lead channel, let's just set that up so that we're kind of happy with our it's such a great channel that it sounds fantastic. It's going to pull. It's got a really rich and warm, creamy sound about it. Now, I'm going to go back to the clean channel. And now, if you find that the clean channel is a little bit darker, we have the clean presence control. So now with that control, you can bring in a little bit more top end sheen and open it up. It can be a little bit dark, when you set up the lead sound and then go to your clean channel. Let's bring in the reverb now. Obviously, if you want to bring in the reverb, you can just push the reverb switch. You will notice also that the store button is flashing. And if I wanted to store it so that my clean channel always had the reverb on whenever I was switching between the lead channel and the clean channel, all I simply do is push the store button. It's really that easy. Let's have a listen to the reverb. pull that back a bit. Now this is interesting. Now when I just strike the open strings with the reverb on and then turn it off, you can hear it's cutting the reverb dead. So if I go to the reverb switch, hold it down, it flashed 3 times. Now the reverb tails are engaged. So I turn the reverb off, but the reverb tails continue. And if I bring in, I've gone onto the bridge pickup, and if I bring in the neck pickup, get that sort of telly-ish sound. That's what I was using for that little country riff. Turn that reverb down a little bit. So a lovely clean sound. It is possible as well to bring in the gain boost. Okay, and also the master volume boost. I think I've got those around the right way. Let's kick in the delay. Okay, so when I turn the delay off, it's completely cutting it. Let's turn the delay on. I'm going to push the delay button down. There you go. So now I've got the tails engaged. So I've pushed up the level of the reverb as well as intensifying the delay a little bit, pushing the level up and the repeats. And you can get some of those Steve Morse style, very ambient volume swells. So a really beautiful sounding clean channel, especially if you start to utilize the effects. I should point out that I am using an Ernie Ball volume pedal. I'm not doing anything with an expression pedal internally, although I could do that blending in the delays, which is very much the way that Steve does it. There's still a lot for me to discover with this amplifier. I have been using it for quite a long time and it's become a big part of my workflow, but it's only more recently that I've been experimenting with MIDI. Anyway, let's now go on to the lead channel. Just something that I want to show you. I'm going to turn up the guitar. We've got a bit of noise. If I bring in the boost, we've got more noise. So what I'm going to do now, there you go. There's the noise gate. The noise gate is fantastic. We have a control on the back that, there, no more noise. That's not cutting off or choking the sound. So the noise gate is a great addition. Okay, now let's have a listen to the reverb added to the lead channel. There's my lead channel. That's the preset. Kicking the reverb. As I said, you could do all of that off of the front of the amp. We can also try kicking in some delay. That's probably going to be a little bit much. Turn down the feedback a bit. It's a really nice delay. Now, if I want to go onto a solo, I could kick in more of a gain boost. I could also kick in the master volume boost. That would just kick the level a little bit higher. So I think it's boosting by about 2 dB. So again, you know, you've got no need now to try and find a way to boost your solos. You've got additional little bit of clean boost to add a little bit more saturation to your sound. And then as well as that, we've also got a master volume boost. Now, something else that's really nice about this is that if you back down the volume, we've still got the boost engaged and the master volume engaged. I can just... and then gradually turn up the volume of the guitar. Now, something else that I found with this amp is that it really interacts well with different pickup configurations. I've pulled the gain control down slightly. You can still hear that's quite a hot tone, especially if I bring in the boost. Now I get much more of a higher gain sound. See, that's why that boost control is so cool to have that on the amp. I don't need a clean boost anymore. But something that's really cool is if you start to experiment with different pickup configurations, bringing in the neck single coil. Again, it adds a little bit of a cleaner tone to the guitar. If I go back to the bridge humbucker now. Another thing that I really like as well, if I bring in the gain boost a little bit, go on to the next setting on my guitar, I can actually engage on all of the pickups and then turn down the tone control. And I got this beautiful... really beautiful, creamy lead sound. So you really appreciate the characteristics of your guitar is what I'm saying with this amp. Okay, so while we're on the lead channel, I just want to show you the power soak. So at the moment, we're on the 20 watt setting. Let's drop that down to 5 watts. And then we can drop that down to 1 watt. So as I said, I'm mic'd up in the other room. So you can really drive the amp and find the sweet spot, but then just by using that power soak control, you'll be able to use a speaker cabinet at home. So playing at comfortable home levels. Now, the other setting that we have is the speaker off. So we have a built-in load box. Basically, you can use this amp without plugging it into a speaker cabinet, and you can take full advantage of the impulse responses. So you have 8 IR slots in total, and it comes pre-loaded with 3 Engl IRs. So let's have a listen to the IRs now. So that's a 2x12 Engl cab. Next one is a 4x12 Engl cab, and this cab is the, I believe this is the same type of cab that Steve himself uses. Okay, and then we have the XL cabinet, and I think this is like an oversized Engl cab. Now, something that I wanted to mention to you is a little bit about MIDI and utilizing a foot switch. I'm using the X-Sonic AirStep Multi MIDI controller. Engl do have their own foot switches that will work with this. You could obviously use a multi-effects, maybe use one of the fractal audio units, or use a Line 6 unit. Basically, the way that the amp is working, you can send out either program changes or control changes. The amp channel switching is achieved with program changes. And basically what you do is you have to be in the clean channel to set this up. You will hold down the noise gate button until it flashes, and then you will send a program change or a control change signal from your board so that the amp is recognizing it, incoming MIDI messages, and then it's set up. And basically then you can set up different program changes, so you can have different presets, if you like, that had different combinations of either a clean channel with different IRs and the reverb on, or the delay on, or the booster, or whatever you want to do, basically. The way I've got it set up is on this foot switch here, the first one. I love this board because you've got these switches. So when I turn it, when it's off, that's the clean channel. When I kick it in, I've then got my lead channel, and I've only got the noise gate, which we did a moment ago. And then I'm using control changes, and you've got like a whole list of control changes, the different messages that you have to send out within the manual. And then I just set up on my iPad app that comes with the X-Sonic, I just set up like a template for the amp. I have to say, actually, I had a little bit of an issue setting up the program changes. I wasn't that familiar with it at first. So I spoke to my good friend Richard Oliver, who has an Engl amp. I think he has the Iron Ball SE, I think. And so he was very helpful in helping me get that sorted out. And also Richard himself has just come up with a course on MIDI for guitarists, MIDI switching and pedals with MIDI and understanding it. I'm going to stick a link to that in the description. That's why I called Richard, because hang on a minute, Richard knows a thing or two about MIDI when it comes to guitar. So check that out. So anyway, we have the program took a little bit of time for me to get it so that I could get it on and off, basically. Once I, with the help of Richard, got my head around it, it was very simple. The control changes were very straightforward. So if I'm on my lead channel, hit that switch. That's giving me the gain boost. Hit that switch. That's my master volume boost. And then up here, I've got reverb. Trying not to drop the air step. And then on the final one, I have my digital delay. Now, this pedal, the Air Step, does have some outputs for using expression pedals. I haven't set that up yet, but basically with the expression pedals, you can do so much more with the reverb and delay. There was things like the reverb pre-delay, the dampening, I think the EQ of it. There was even the decay time as well. So you can really get in and edit the reverbs quite deep, and you could set up multiple parameters that would be on one expression pedal. And in the same way, you could do the same with the delay. You could really get into the things that Steve Morse does, where he pushes down the volume pedal to bring in the blend, and maybe you could have it so you're getting more repeats, you know, as you push it down, increasing the feedback to get those very ethereal sounds. And something else that you can also do is that you can set up tap tempo as well for the delay. I could probably do another layer on this board, but I've actually got a little Ernie Ball tap switch, which I probably could hook that up so I have an additional switch just to keep things nice and straightforward. There is a lot that you can do with the MIDI if you get into it. Okay, so there you have it, the Steve Morse Engl. What are my thoughts on this? Well, in a time where we're being told that valve amps are dead and modelers are the future and all this stuff, I think this amp is proof that companies are starting to think a little bit outside of the box. I got this amp at the tail end of last year, and I should have made my video a lot sooner, actually. But to be honest with you, the Steve Morse 20 has become such an integral part of my workflow. It's in the other room with me all the time, just running into my interface, because I can just get an instant great guitar tone making use of the IRs when I'm practicing. I've got delay and reverb and stuff. It's just everything is there for me. Going out and playing as well, I can turn up to a gig with this amplifier and not be oh, you're that guy. You've turned up with a big, loud, heavy valve amp. I can turn up with that. It can sit off the side of the stage. I can have my foot switch, wearing in-ear monitors, and just come from the XLR, the balanced output, straight to the front of house. I feel more confident when I'm playing with a valve amp, and that's just the way that I play. I like the way that how dynamic it is when I'm backing down the volume control on the guitar and cleaning it up. With modelers, I still don't feel right when I'm doing it. And I'm sure that people will write in the comments, oh, that's because you're old or whatever. I'm really trying to get into it. I have a digital setup now that I'm working with, and I'm really trying my best to get into it and be inspired with it and be like, yeah, this is great. But then I plug into this and I'm just like, oh yeah, it's just everything's there. It's just easy. And I think that's the main thing. It's easy. It's easy to use and it sounds great. And also the way that Steve and Engl and Engl's designer Horst have approached this is that it's eliminating all the other peripheral sort of things. Oh, I need a booster. Oh, I need to try and boost my volume. Maybe I need to stick something in the effects loop, like an EQ or something. Oh, I need a delay pedal. Oh, what about a reverb? I can literally get a gig bag, Engl do a gig bag, and put that in, put it on my shoulder, have my guitar, stick the MIDI board in and turn up and play. It's eliminated me having to have a clean boost because it's got the boost, so I can set the gain a little bit lower, have a nice crunchy rhythm sound. Oh, I need a bit more saturation. I hit the boost. I've got a solo now. Oh, am I going to be heard? Master volume boost. Yes, I am. Oh, I need some delay. It's all there and it's all in one unit. And with anything that Engl made, it's built like a tank. This is German made, high quality components. So this has fast become my favorite amplifier. I use it, and that is the truth. I used it so much. In terms of paid advertising, you'll notice that it says paid advertising or paid promotion for this video. I wanted this amp. I tried this amp out. I know the guys at Engl. I met them through Henning at 42 Gear Street. And when I was at Guitar Summit last year, I was on the Engl booth playing the big Steve Morse. And I knew this amp was coming. And I just said, look, how do I go about getting one? I plugged in and played it and fell in love with it. And they were like, well, do it for a video. So I've received this amp. I haven't received payment. My payment is, well, I've received payment. I've received this lovely amplifier. And I did it because I wanted the amp. This amp is absolutely fantastic. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't be doing this video. So if you're like me and you enjoy playing for a valve amp, but then you are aware of all the other little bits that sometimes we need to build the rig and you want to keep it simple, check out the Steve Morse Signature 20. This really is a Swiss army knife of a valve amp. I really think this is the future of valve amplification. Anyway, that's it from me. I really hope that you've enjoyed this demo. And if you don't already, please do subscribe and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.